Yo, 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 good afternoon, traders. How are we? Hope you all are well. Hope you had a good weekend because I haven't seen you all since then. So, hope you had a good weekend. Welcome to the live stream. We are going to do the following, guys. We've got 45 minutes and we are going to do some live analysis of the chart. I'm going to show you a couple of trades that I am currently in. The markets do feel like they're somewhat rigged against me today. You know, you have one of them days and you think the market is against you. I'm having one of those days. One of those months, to be honest with you. But we're going to have those days, you're going to have those months, and I'll explain why I'm having one of those days. Also, guys, we have news coming out. So at 1:30, Fed Chair Powell speaking. He's quite an important guy when it comes to the US dollar and all currencies and all markets and everything. So we're not going to listen into him, guys, but, you know, if we see any reaction in the markets, we know what's happening because we know he's speaking at 1:30. All right. So if anything does come out of there, I'm sure we'll see that react on the charts. And finally, guys, of course, we are going to answer as many of your questions as humanly possible. So don't be shy. Come say hello. Leave a question. I'm just checking I'm on the right page so I can see your questions. Yeah, leave a question and I will answer them. And it can be anything, guys. It can be about trading, but it can be about whatever you like. So there you go. What else did I want to tell you before we start today? Let me have a quick drink. You know me, guys, always have to have my vodka at hand. I'll tell you what I wanted to share with you. ChatGPT. My God, what a powerful little tool it is. Yeah. Does anyone else use ChatGPT? And I'll tell you, after this, tomorrow, guys, we're releasing this video which we done about ChatGPT finding trades in the market. So we're going to do a week-long's worth of ChatGPT trades. All right, and we'll share all of this by the end of the week as well. So go check out that YouTube vid when we post it tomorrow. What else are we going to do? I think that is about it. Let's have a quick hello to everyone, see who is in the house. So Daniel, hi Daniel. Brett, hello mate. Daniel is feeling my pain. He's having a similar week where you think the markets are against you. They're not. They don't care about you, but that's what it feels like sometimes. Tony, let's go. Adrian, hello, how are you? William, hi. Okay, Adrian has been using Grok and Gemini. See, I've never even heard of them. I am a late adopter to any technology. I've literally started this week using ChatGPT. Everyone's like, Tom, bloody use it. It's brilliant. So I have, and it is unbelievable. So I haven't heard of any others. I've heard of Claude. Claude is another one, right? So yeah, I've heard of that one. Yeah, and check out the YouTube video in a week. Any, hello, how are you? And Mohammed, hi, how are you? So hello, everyone. Hope you are all well. Grok is Elon Musk. Okay, Elon Musk in a computer. So, guys, I'm going to share with you why I think the market is against me today, right? So, okay, maybe not with this trade, right? Now, Euro pound, I entered this trade earlier today, right? And why did I enter it? So let's understand the trade first and foremost. So we are clearly in an uptrend, right? You don't have to be a NASA scientist to see that. We are clearly in an uptrend, right? Higher lows, higher highs, yeah? And we are getting... We've come down to a nice support level through here, and we're getting nothing but bullish, you know, not super bullish, but still bullish, right? Bullish candles. So the idea is just to take it back up to these highs, right? I'm not shooting for the stars, guys. Every time I have a target, It's basically the next piece of resistance, right? If I'm buying the market, it's the next piece of resistance. And if I'm selling the market, it's the next piece of support. You know, always, you know, trader top tip, always have your target as the next resistance or next support, right? Always. Because this could be a turning point, right? This could be a turning point for this currency pair, right? So I wanted to buy it. And I tell you the entry time frame I got in on was the H1, right? Because basically, guys, when I got in, if I go back in time, we were basically here, right? So we had this area where price just kept hitting, and then bang, we broke it. All right. And then I got a little bit of a retrace and I started buying. So it's a breakout trade, really. It's a break of resistance. It's a breakout trade. Now, just as a general rule with breakouts, I've got this tutorial in the VIP Trading Academy, by the way. You want momentum. Now, imagine you broke out of jail. Maybe some of you have. I've done it 3 times. I shouldn't even joke about these things. But imagine you broke out of jail, right? And you're not going to stop, right? There needs to be momentum. And I think this analogy works with this. It's the same with breakout trades. If I get a breakout trade, I want to see at least the next candle bullish, right? And then we've had a bit of a breakout, right? But in this case, if I go back to real time now, right, we got the first couple of candles were bearish, right? That was a bearish candle closing back into this level. So you can see this more clearly on the H4, guys, right? And it basically manifested in this big bearish H4 candle, right? So this level never actually broke. And that's a really interesting point, guys. Like on the H1, it broke. It was a clear break. On the H4, it hasn't broke, right? So, yeah, wanted to share that. And that's why I got out of the trade early. So I basically got out here, you know, I basically got out on the close of this candle. Okay, so this actual trade is no longer. And I've gotten out of this trade. So that was my first trade from today, which I've just got out of. And then I got into pound Canadian dollar. Right now, if we look at the let's look at the daily chart. Right now, again, this is textbook. This is a textbook uptrend, right? Because really, this here is the trend, right? This was the last high that got broken, and therefore it makes this the last low. And with that in mind, right, we're back at this level and we've got some nice bullish candles bounce off this level. So we're still technically in an uptrend, okay? Bear with me because I can, you know, I can see that we are seeing this in terms of structure also, right? So is it a little bit of, what's the right word? There's a little bit of, can't think of the right word. Anyway, what else I want to show you is this. Excuse me, guys. I haven't had my glass of vodka yet. But what I also want to show you guys is we are at a nice weekly level. This was the last weekly low. So basically what I'm showing you there on the day chart is almost a weekly trend. The word I was looking for was subjective. It's very subjective, right? But here, the weekly trend isn't subjective, right? I'm glad I got that word in the end. Bear with me. All right, so weekly is definitely in an uptrend, and daily arguably is in an uptrend, but at the very least, right, we have room up to these last lows here. So this was once support. it can now become resistance, and the moving average 20 will catch up. So because this was a weekly level, we're technically in an uptrend, and we're seeing, bullish candle. Sellers try to come in, but just an immediate bullish candle after that. The idea is just to potentially come to these highs, might even leave a little bit to run into this 1.85 thousand level. All right. If we drop down to the H4, this candle hasn't finished forming, right? And obviously I didn't get in on this candle, right? But the candle I got in on was this, right? And if you look at that, it's just lovely, right? We're seeing, bouncing off the moving average 20, moving average 20 is coming round, right? We're not quite making higher highs actually, right? Because all of these highs are closing back in, but we get this nice bullish candle, right? Which, was telling me I can take price at least up to here, if not a bit further, and hide my stop below the low. Right, so now we're getting a H4 candle that looks like that, okay, which is obviously not ideal. And we've still got just over 45 minutes before this candle finishes forming. So we'll see, right? Obviously I'm in this trade. I want to see a nice big, just a wick form. Something like this would be nice with this candle. But we'll see, right? I can't control the market like that. I wish I could. So there you go, guys. That's kind of why I think the market is against me today, right? But that's obviously nonsense. The market's not against you. You are a small, insignificant nothing to the market. It's like when you think of space, right? When you start thinking, and I really like, bear with me, I really like thinking of space, right? When you think of all the, we're part of a galaxy that's, and there's trillions and trillions of galaxies, how vast that is and how small and insignificant you are in the universe, right? You are a little bit of nothing. There you go. Some positive motivation there, guys. You're all little bits of nothing. I'm a little bit of nothing. That's what space tells us. Who wants to know? I've got some questions for you guys, right? Who's ready for some questions about space, right? Just to show, this really explains, I know this has nothing to do with trading, but this really explains how small we are, right? So light, right? Light is quick, right? Light travels very quickly. So to give you an idea of how quick light travels, right? This is a question for everyone, so please leave your answer in the live chat, right? So from the sun, the light from the sun to get to your eye, how long does that take? So everyone, please give your answers. Anyone? Anyone hazard a guess? Okay, Adrian Kelly is correct. Right, so just to get some facts in here. So Lee James, the speed of light is 186,000 miles per hour. So that's about the same speed as Usain Bolt. And 8 minutes is correct, right? Well done, Adrian. Did you use Google for that, or that was just general knowledge? Now, to give you an idea of how big space is, the next sun, right? So the next sun as part of a galaxy, I can't remember the name of it, Andromedus or something, I'm not sure. No, Adrian did know that. Congratulations, Adrian. Now, the next sun, right, as part of our nearest galaxy, how long does that take for light to reach your eye? So our sun takes 8 minutes. How long does it take our nearest sun after our sun to reach our eye? Answers in the live chat, guys. This is not ChatGPT. This is me knowing shit about space. And I also love a pub quiz. I'm going to a pub quiz tonight, actually. We've really gone away from trading tonight, haven't we? But never mind. Let's see this through. Okay, we've got an interesting fact here. Yeah, the sun is 330,000 times the size of the Earth. Yeah. And also, if you put the Earth next to Jupiter, right? So you know why, people, we're scared of getting hit by asteroids. One of the reasons we don't is because Jupiter is so big, and that takes a lot of asteroids and the asteroid belt as well. I do like space. So the next sun, our sun takes 8 minutes. The next sun, the next galaxy takes 4 years. There you go. That's how big that's how big the galaxy is, right? The next sun takes 4 years to reach your eye, right? And that's traveling at 186,000 miles per hour. Now, this one is the last one, guys, and I promise we'll talk trading. Now, how long does it take light to pass through our galaxy? So our galaxy is the Milky Way. I've been watching too much Brian Cox, the physicist who used to be in some band as well. Anyway, the Milky Way, our galaxy, right? How long does it take light to pass through the Milky Way? To give you an idea of how big our galaxy is. So this is the last one, guys. Anyone? Right, I don't expect anyone to know this one. Hello, Poo Poppy. Yes. Mike says that bear candle is nearly the size of the sun. That's why I'm talking about space, Mike. I'm kind of blocking that out of my view, that candle. Okay, so the last one, guys, it takes 100,000 years for light to pass through our galaxy. And again, it travels at 186,000 miles an hour. How big is that? And we have trillions and trillions of galaxies. So does everyone on the live stream feel like a small speck of nothing? We really are in the grand scheme of it. So, yeah, there you go, guys. There's my motivational speech for today. That is just an estimation. Yes, I'm sure they know, they can map how big the Milky Way galaxy is, and then they can work out the speed of light and, distance and, so 100,000 years. It's an estimation, but, they can work these things out. So there you go, guys. I used to be a NASA scientist. I never told you that, did I? Right, guys. So, yes, space. Okay, we've got one more interesting thing here. The Earth rotates at 1,000 on its axis. Its orbit around the sun, 103 million miles at a speed of 68,000 miles per hour. So we are currently going 68,000 miles per hour. Thank God for gravity. Right, guys, let's get focused on the trading. So yeah, where are we, guys? Do we get any questions up here? All right, guys. So yeah, so please put your questions into me, guys. Yeah. Yeah, and it does beg, are we the only intelligent life? Are we intelligent, Dan? That's the real question. Yeah. Okay. Marky Mark. Hi, Tom. You are in a pound Canadian dollar trade. Yes, I am, Marky Mark. Yes. I'm buying this. That's my trade right there. All right, guys. So, yeah, please don't forget to leave your questions. I promise not to speak about space anymore, but it seems like everyone's enjoying the space talk. But, yeah, get all your questions to me about trading, and I will answer as many as I can. I'm also interested in pound US dollar. I believe I saw Mike get into this trade. I also like pound US dollar, right? Because but I got into pound Canadian dollar. Now, again, the thing with these pound pairs is the subjectivity of trend, right? Now, this is in an uptrend, right? I would say that's not very subjective. All this in here, right? It's not a substantial enough higher high or higher low, right? So these are the last highs and lows, right? So we're in an uptrend, higher highs, these lows never broke. Excuse me. And, you know, we had this big bullish candle push away from these lows in here. These wicks, I was thinking, okay, you know, right, I'm not doing anything with these wicks, but then bang, right? We've got a big bullish daily candle. Mike, am I right in saying you're in this trade? And then if we go on the H4, we've also had that H4 structure break, right? We were here, it's become a bit rangy break. And this is where we're at so far. We're in an uptrend, higher lows. We broke this area of resistance, higher highs, right? Does pound want to come back down into here a little bit more on the moving average 20? We shall see. You know, if I do it, you know, I'm in pound Canadian dollar, but if I did start buying this trade, I would put my stop below this moving average 20, right? To give it a chance, because it might want to come down to there before it moves up. But having said that, this is a very nice bullish candle right now. So it's a tricky one, pound US dollar, whereas pound Canadian dollar seemed less tricky to me, right? We had a nice big bullish, it retraced nicely to the moving average 20, and we had lots of room to move into, right? But yeah, we shall see. I also like pound US dollar. And as always, guys, I put all of my trades into the VIP Trading Academy. So here you can see Euro Pound, right? I closed this trade early, as I explained. And then I am in pound Canadian dollar buys as well. So again, guys, if you want my trade ideas every single day, then please come join. Firstly, come join the free Discord channel, guys. So if you just click on the QR code on the screen right now, you will get access to our Discord. And then we've also got the VIP Discord. So we've got the free Discord and the VIP Discord. And if you join the free Discord right now, we are giving you 50% off the trading course. I think we're going to run that for another 2 weeks. So take advantage of that right now. If you want access to all of our premium trading education, just look above my head, guys. We've got the website there. Go check that out. You can get access to the trading course. You can get access to the VIP Trading Academy, and you can get access to the mentorship program where I coach you one-on-one. And also, guys, right now, we have launched our Price Action 101 indicator, which we are very, very excited about. This indicator just basically helps you see price action and gives you areas where to trade from. And if you're interested in that, guys, then it's basically a strategy using price action. It trades how I trade, right? You know, the scientists at Simply Forex, the ones that also talk about space, yeah, it's amazing what they've done and what they've created here, guys. It basically mimics how I trade. And you can get access to that now. That is also on the website. So go check out that Price Action 101 indicator. Yeah, go check it all out, guys. Right. Yeah. And all the links are in the live chat right now. Okay. We had some questions here. Okay. So Marky Mark had a question about Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Let's start here then, guys, because I think everyone's had enough about space. Let me have a drink, all that space talk. I love space. I find it so fascinating. My old man loved space. Right, so Canadian dollar yen. Let's do a top-down approach and let's apply price action, right? That's how I roll. That's how everyone should roll. Now, this is clearly in an uptrend, as pretty much every yen pair is, right? It's yen weakness, right, across the board. Okay, we're in an uptrend and we've got nice bullish candles. I want to buy Canadian dollar yen. Okay, if you go to the daily chart, it's a little bit scruffy, right? Monday we had this gap down, right, which just makes things look scruffy. But just to take away all the scruffiness, right, just focus on the facts, right? And the facts are this, right? We was in this. Okay, but we're basically like this, guys, right? We're in this uptrend here. Okay, in fact, let me make that a little bit, right? This was the last low there, right? So we're in an uptrend, higher lows, higher highs. You have to be able to find what, trend you're in by using structure. So again, I want to buy Canadian dollar yen. It's also, almost at a nice support level, and we got the moving average 20 coming round. So I think in here somewhere could be a really nice buy opportunity. But these candles are not telling us to buy. We know from the start of the week, yen strength has come into the market, right? We know that. Yeah, we know that because we can see it. And we'll look at the H4 as well. You can see it there. It's breaking down. So I want to buy it in terms of trend, weekly and daily. It's at a value position, like it's retraced enough. Yeah, I would be looking to buy this, but I need a few more things to tell me to buy. One of those is, a nice bullish candle, maybe something like this, right? Or a candle that looks like that. Something that tells us buyers have taken control. Then I will happily buy Canadian dollar yen. Now, if we go down to the H4, right, you can see I've got my alarm in here, right? This isn't an old alarm. Sometimes I forget to delete my alarms, but this is not an old alarm. Why not? Because this will be the point at which we have a H4 structure break so far. Now, this is that daily level. Now, imagine if we do come down, hit this, and then we get this big bullish daily candle, and we get something like this, and then we get a break, right? The break might happen earlier than this. I'm just showing you an example of how structure could play out and how structure can break, right? Now, if we break this level, something like this, I would start buying this. Stop loss is below here. Take price back up to these highs, if not further. But right now, nothing is telling me to buy Canadian dollar yen. In fact, that was on the H4. That's quite a nice selling opportunity, guys, really. Right, back down to these lows. But I won't take, you're probably saying, okay, Tom, it's a nice H4 trade. Why won't you take that trade? Because of the daily chart. If we go back to the daily chart, there is no subjectivity here. This is just absolutely in an uptrend, right? So I don't want to trade against that. Chances are with this bearish candle, with that H4 structure, it will find its way back down to these lows. But I just don't want to chance that. By going against that trend, I am decreasing the probability of my trade, right? Yeah, so there you go. That is Canadian dollar yen marky mark. HD, yeah, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. Okay, so good afternoon, Tom. Could you please review Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar for longs, weekly, daily, H4 are all in an uptrend? Yeah. So this is an interesting one. And I'm going to explain why. Because, right, let's imagine I never looked at the weekly chart, right? And I, as you know, I do keep an eye on the weekly chart. Like, day is king. The day chart is king for me, but I will keep an eye on the weekly chart, right? Now, if you were looking at only the daily, right, you'd be like, right, as HD said, we're in an uptrend. We're back at this, what was once resistance become good support. right? We've got not a super bullish candle, I must say, but we've got some buyers coming to the market, right? But that is not bullish, right? But uptrend back at this daily level, right? Then I'd go down to the H4, and as Hanny rightfully says, right, we have literally just broken this level here, right? And if I drag that left, you can see this is a pretty good level, right? Drag it left. You just want to, match as many price touches as you can when you draw support and resistance, right? That is a good level, fact, right? This candle broke these highs. Therefore, in this H4 downtrend, we now have higher highs, and therefore we have higher lows. So again, absolutely H4 is in an uptrend. So right now, everything is pointing that this will be a great trade, and it might, right? There is a but coming, okay? It's about to be very silly there and talk about buts on people, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not a child. One day we'll grow up. Anyway, right? So daily in an uptrend, H4 fresh structure break. We've even got a nice retrace down here. Take price up to here, stops below here. The big but in the room, is the weekly chart. Because look at that weekly candle, guys. It just really puts me off buying into that. Right? That is the only thing, is this weekly chart. So this weekly candle specifically, even the weekly chart is in an uptrend, right? Yeah, we come down here, we're in this downtrend, bang, we're in an uptrend. Higher highs, right? These lows held. We're in an uptrend. But I do not want to buy into that weekly candle. Yeah, so, and also the daily candle. That wick is not super bullish, right? And if this wick closes back into this wick, I'm definitely not interested. I mean, we still got to wait for this candle to finish, right? So yeah, that's the reason why, Annie. I agree with everything else. Everything's uptrending, but just that puts me off. Guys, worth pointing out that Fed Chair Powell, is he speaking yet? Yes. So Fed Chair Powell is speaking. Let's just take a quick look at some US dollar pairs. Let's have a look at the H1. Yeah, nothing happening thus far, right? When I see big speakers like that, I will immediately go to the US dollar, but I'll also go to flight to safety pairs, because if they're going to affect anything, the things they say could really affect the economy, and therefore flight to safeties become strong or weak. But I think this is just yen strength anyway that we're seeing. Yeah. All right. So yeah, nothing happening with Powell and his speeches thus far. So there you go, guys. Yeah, there's a good reason why you should look at the weekly chart with Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. All right. We'll see how that one plays out. Niraj, hi. How are you? Who else have we got? Okay, so Mike is in the pound US dollar trade. Should have waited for more of a retracement. Premature in more ways than one. Yes, yeah, but hindsight's a beautiful thing. We can't do anything about that. And Mike, if you like motorbikes, you will love my brother. He loves motorbikes. Okay, so Lee James likes the sound of the indicator. Yeah, Lee, go check it out. It's on the website. Price Action 101. Yeah, we've made it so that it basically trades like me and adopts price action. There's very little subjectivity to it. It might even trade better than me, which is slightly worrying because it's so mechanical almost, right? So yeah, if it does, we're going to get rid of it. I'm only joking. And Lee James, you're not the only one who loves space. It's so fascinating, isn't it? Space is so fascinating. And I love Brian Cox. Heath, how are you? Where the hell have you been, Heath? How are you? Welcome back to the live stream. Lee James, does it work on all time frames? The indicator you're talking about. So you can put it on all time frames, but we have optimized it to work on daily direction and H4 entry. That's what we've optimized the indicator on, because that's predominantly how I trade. I use daily direction with H4 entries. Yeah, so again, go check it out. Mike is in Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar as well. Yeah, it's got me scratching my head, or I've got nits, one or the other. Yeah, everything's nice about it, but that weekly candle. Right, what else are we looking at? Mike, thoughts on New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar? Okay, let's have a look at this. Now, this was, before I even look at this, this was in my weekly analysis vid. So every weekend, guys, I do my weekly analysis of the markets, right? So please always check that video out on YouTube. That'll tell you what I'm looking at from a weekly perspective, like a swing trade. And then during the week, I find more daily and H4 trades, right? Now, New Zealand CAD was a buy trade on the weekly, right? Because if we look at the weekly chart, it's this, right? We are in I mean, look at that. That is the most rangy market I've ever seen, right? And we're more or less at the moving average 20, right? Now, we are at the bottom of the range. This is the top of the range. And we've had this nice bullish wick that held on to these lows, right? So we haven't had a break of the range. And therefore, everything's telling me we can still make it back to the top of the range. And when I say everything is telling me, the things that are telling me are this. Structure and trend, we're in a range and we're at the bottom of the range. Take it to the top of the range. That suggests a buy. We've got a bullish wick rejection. That suggests a buy. We are bouncing off of support. That suggests a buy, right? It's not me making shit up, right? It's there. You can see what I'm talking about, right? It's logical. So for all of those reasons, you know, and also it can be the most logical trade you've ever taken, and the market can do what the hell it likes anyway. But if we stack enough confluences, which is basically what I was talking about, in our favor, we can create higher probability trades, right? Just by pure data crunching and reasoning. So my reasoning says that we could buy New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar from a weekly perspective. Now, on the day chart, right, we're in a downtrend. And basically, it's all, you know, you can see a bit of reaction through here, right? You can see wicks reacting here. It was support, and it was now, I cannot think, resistance. I cannot think of my words today. Haven't had enough coffee. So I will be all over New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar if we get something like this, right? We start to get higher highs, higher lows. We get a nice retrace into value. Moving average 20 starts coming round, right? And we could look to buy this back up to the top of the range. But right now, we can't, guys, right? There's nothing telling me to buy this. Look at, I mean, bullish wick, bearish candle, right? But ultimately, from the weekly, I want to buy this. And H4, just looking at the daily, must be in a downtrend. Yeah, there you go, right? So we're clearly in a H4 downtrend. You know, maybe it wants to bounce off here, find these lows, and then it starts building up again. And we're interested in this build up. less interested in this on the way down. Because if you think about it, guys, even on the H4, if I start selling here, right, you're probably thinking, Tom, that's not a bad trade. I just know that on the weekly, I would be, it's the same with that Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar trade. I just know I would be selling into this wick. And that just doesn't compute with my little brain. So yeah, that's what we're seeing there, guys, really. Right, what else are we looking at? Okay, so we've got a bit of fundamental input here from Lee. So Japan only delivering opening remark. Oh, sorry, Jerome Powell only delivering opening remarks at the capital framework of large banks. Yeah, nothing Fed specific. Okay, there you go. So nothing should happen there. Menchu Reyes, you are very late. We will be handing out punishments later on in the show, and we'll be doing that live. Very different channel, that one. Guys, before we look at Menchi's question about Euro Aussie dollar, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash the like button. Also, guys, please don't forget to join our trading community where you can talk to like-minded traders, have a chit chat. So please come join our Discord channel. You can see the QR code on the screen. Also, please check out our website where you can get access to our premium education, including the course, including the mentorship program, including the VIP Trading Academy, and more recently, including our Price Action 101 indicator. Go check it all out, y'all. Right, what else are we looking at? Yes, sorry, Michael. So Euro Aussie dollar. Have you touched on Euro Aussie dollar? No, we have not. Let's touch on it right now. Now, at the start of the week, and I'm not looking at sells for today. I was looking at sells Monday. So let's understand that, right? Now, on the weekly, we are in an uptrend. But just look at those candles, right? It is, let me zoom in. Every time I zoom, there we go. Uber bearish and bearish, really, because of that top wick, okay? So we are in a weekly uptrend, but I don't want to buy it. If anything, I want to sell it because of those candles, right? And then, the daily tells me I have permission to sell it as well, right? Because if we look at this, we are still in a downtrend, right? We're getting lower lows, and potentially, is this the new lower highs in here? We don't know yet. We shall see. But we're definitely getting lower lows, right? We're pretty much at the moving average 20. It's not an exact science, guys, but if we're in and around the moving average 20, that represents good value, right? And we can potentially take this down to here. So ultimately, I'm still interested in Euro Aussie dollar sells, right? Now, today, I'm not interested in them because this daily candle is so bullish, right? So I'm not interested in it. But if tomorrow's candle finishes like this, or today's candle finishes like this, and then tomorrow I reanalyze this pair, and it finishes like this, I will still be interested in selling Euro Aussie dollar. But if we look at the H4, you're going to be waiting a long time to get H4 structure break, right? Because we're basically in a H4 uptrend. We're going to need something like this. Maybe we get this, and then we get a breakdown, right? Retrace, and then I'll be interested in selling in here. So still interested in Euro Aussie dollar, but you could be sitting on your hands quite a while before we get a price action structure break entry. All right, guys. So yes, Tom has been knighted. Yeah, he didn't know that, Lee. Right, guys, we've run out of time. So thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate you joining me for the live stream. Don't forget, we do these every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. New York EST time. So come join us again tomorrow, guys. And I will see you then. Get your questions ready. Ciao, Bambino.